Hello YouTube, and welcome to a bit of a different lore video. Today is once again one of those days where we will look at something quite obscure in my quest to get demonetized from YouTube. The swear words and slurs of Tamriel, and then also looking at some insults and curses. This video was inspired by a Reddit post by the user SuperCoolJesus, which I saw a few days ago. And it got me very interested in the topic, leading me to do a video about it. So with that said, let's talk about some swear words. I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this video.
Me too, you Enwa.
So, in the Elder Scrolls universe, there are a lot of custom swear words. In general, they tend to use some basic swear words from the English language, like scum, bastard, whore, whoreson, arse, piss, bitch, maggot, and even sometimes shit. But that gets used very rarely. But while they sometimes use these basic words, the vast majority of swear words and slurs in the Elder Scrolls universe are original swear words. Even words like fuck and shit, which are very common in our own universe, are used extremely rarely in the Elder Scrolls universe. The word fuck, for example, is usually replaced by something else. Like in Oblivion they say, instead of don't fuck it up, people will say don't muck it up. I would say that in general there are three categories of swear words in the Elder Scrolls universe. First, there are the swear words, slurs and insult, which are English terms invented for the Elder Scrolls universe. So, second, there are completely original swear words and slurs, written in a race's native language. And finally, there are curses, which are usually a combination of the two, and as it contains in-universe elements combined with English. So, to start with the first category, the swear words and slurs and insults made up of English words. Some of the more obvious ones that we encounter a lot in the games like Skyrim are the Nordic slurs, like for example milk drinker, which is a substitute for the word weakling. But in the Skyrim Civil War, some also seem to use it to call out Nords which suck on the Empire's wealth, or the milk of the Empire, so Imperial milk drinker. But it's mostly used when Nords find someone a weakling, for example in a situation like this.
You don't want to cover metaphysical lore? You are such an Imperial milk drinker.
Why, thank you for your kind words. Another Nordic insult is snowback. The exact meaning of this is debated, but most people online seem to agree that it's mostly a slur used for someone who loses a lot of fights and is thus thrown on his back in the snow a lot in Skyrim. However, we have also heard it used in some contexts, as a general slur by other races for Nords. One of the more obvious Nordic slurs is by far Greyskins, which is a Nordic slur for the Dunmer race. A similar slur for Dunmer is Dustman or Ashskin, which is often used to refer to the Dunmer by Khajiit and Argonians. All these terms obviously reference the color of their skin and the land that they come from, Morrowind, which is largely an ashland. There's also a general tendency of Nords, and to a degree other races, to call other races than themselves by their racial name or appearance. Think for example about how a lot of Nords simply say speak elf or speak lizard. Same case for Khajiit, who are often simply called cat and sometimes even kitty. It might not sound too much like a slur, but it can be pretty offensive when you think about it. Imagine for example me being approached by a person of color and just saying speak black. That would be really offensive. Which is why I put this in with the insults, slurs and, swear words. That said, in other provinces, Nords are sometimes referred to as snowman, and sometimes Nords are referred to as snowberries, a term also used by fellow Nords when they think that certain Nords are weaklings. But probably the best word for Nord is icebrain. Usually that's used when a Nord does something very stupid, like for example in this situation.
You really think the Empire will win the Civil War? You are such an icebrain.
Some other slur words are for example the tendency to call Argonians scaleskins or scalebacks, Bretons halflings, or Dunmer who call slaves and servants fetchers. One of my personal favorites is a slur for Argonian, which is not often used, but in my opinion pretty creative. It's the word saplickers, which is a reference to the Argonians' tendency to drink and lick up hissed sap. Another pretty well-known insult around Tamriel is to call orcs pigs, most likely a reference to their noses, which can in some cases be pig-like. The orcs themselves have a tendency to use the word tusk a lot in their swears. using it in a lot of cases that we would use the word fuck or shit. For example, we know that the orcs sometimes say what the tusk, which I actually find pretty funny if I'm being honest. Khajiit also have a pretty big library of words to refer to the other races of Tamriel, like for example shave skins and smooth skins. The latter one is also a term used by Argonians to refer to other cases, and the term smooth skins in the Elder Scrolls universe is likely a reference to the Fallout series where ghouls call non-ghoulified people of the world smooth skins. The people of Tamriel might refer to Khajiits as sugar tooths because they are infamous for their widespread skooma addictions, and Argonians might call other races dry skins. Now, a race we haven't really talked about so far are the Imperials. They don't really have slurs, but generally they will just talk down to other races and people not living in Cyrodiil. They will just generally call anyone living outside of Cyrodiil a provincial. Like for example, Lady of Scrolls will never learn manners because she's just a provincial.
Screw you, Snowback.
Another set of races that we have not really talked about yet are the Elvish races. While the Dunmer have a plethora of original insults, which come in the next section, the Altmer actually have a word to refer to humans. They use the word round ears, while humans might respond to that with the word knife ears for elves. Some more general insults around Tamriel are things like trollbrain, skeever butt and guarface, which are insults not really limited to a race, but general insults used by anyone. The final first category slurs that we will talk about are the slurs used by Dremora. They generally will insult any mortal by referring to them as puny mortal or something in that kind of range, where they basically mock you for your mortality. Now, let's talk about category 2, which definitely has less content than the first section, the original words. Probably the most famous original swear word and slur in the Elder Scrolls universe comes from the Dunmer, specifically the word Enwa. This word is used quite a lot in memes online about the Elder Scrolls, and it basically means slave or foreigner in the Dunmer language. Another a bit lesser known insult from the Dunmer is the word Eswit. In the Dunmer language this means slow-witted or dumb. There's one final word in the Dunmer language which is fla or efla, which means friend, but it's usually used in more offensive situations when talking to someone that a Dunmer deems worth less than them. So for example in the context of threats. We actually know a swear word that was once used by the Aliots, the word hikul, which is used to refer to outcasts and peasants. Then there's the dragon language, which has the words Ruth and Nikrin in it, which respectively mean damn coward. So that would be something the dragons might use, which isn't really a slur or anything, but more something to wound another dragon's pride. And finally, in the category 2, there are the Argonians, who also have quite a lot of offensive words in their language. Most of these words we know from the Elder Scrolls novels, the Infernal City and Lord of Souls, but also some from the recent Elder Scrolls Online expansions in Blackmarsh. Argonian swear words are hard to pronounce, but here we go. There's Xuth, which basically means shit or fuck, Kauk, which basically means ignorant, Waxathil, which basically means stupid, and Lukril, which basically means assimilated. And that's specifically that last one is a slur specifically used against Argonians that have grown up or live in other cultures outside of Blackmarsh and are thus seen as inferior to those grown up in Blackmarsh and living in Blackmarsh within traditional Argonian culture. Now, finally, there are the curses of the Elder Scrolls universe, which are essentially the same as in our own universe, but then replaced with Elder Scrolls words. Like, for example, the curse go to hell would be go to oblivion, because in most of our curses which contain hell, the word hell is substituted with oblivion. Think about the intro of Skyrim, where General Tullius says, "What in oblivion is that?" And of course, there are the curses involving gods, like for example, Azura curse you, or Malakath take you. These kind of curses come in all different variations, with different Aedra or Daedra being the premise of them, but they're basically the Elder Scrolls variant of things like God damn it or oh my god, those kind of things. So that was basically most of the Elder Scrolls swear words, slurs, curses and insults that are used around Tamriel. Now I would not be surprised if this list is still missing a lot of them, but I think I got at least a fair bit of them. Now, before I end this video, allow me to first thank Lady of Scrolls, who was kind enough to insult me a couple of times in this video. And to of course vocally thank my top patrons, Mr. Bernardo Binda, Metaloid1v1, Mr. Christmas, Mr. Gabriel Binda, Mr. Hayden Barnes and Mr. Para. These people, along with the other people on screen, are the people that keep my channel going, and I'm of course very thankful for it. That said, I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, consider returning for the next Elder Scrolls lore video next Thursday. And of course, if you haven't, subscribe to A Lady of Scrolls. She helped me and she's a great person overall and does also Elder Scrolls lore on her channel. But yeah, most of you have subscribed to her by now. With that said, I will see you all next Thursday in the next Elder Scrolls lore video here on my channel. Bye bye.